Thank you, Artie, for having me on. Great to see everyone. It's my pleasure to be here together with you tonight. I think what you're putting together is something that is going to change everything, Artie. I think this is a beginning of something that will be. Sometimes things can become larger than what we expect them to be. And I think that this is one of those times that you've taken on a project like that, even though you have very big ambitions and you have very big ambitions for this team. I think it's going to be going beyond what you can see. And Stuart, well done. What a great launch. I think you're a leader of many of the people in the teams that are joining here today. It's been absolutely fantastic to get to know you a little bit. And from the very first conversation, where I think you were maybe a little bit reserved, would I ever do what Artie and Ørjan is doing? I mean, yes, it was a couple of hours where we talked, and then you lightened up to the idea, and I think that you found home in one way. Science, as that can be very exciting. Also, working with people and creating results in the way we do it can be very exciting. And then we've got Stephen and Natalie here. Just spent a weekend with them a few weeks back, something like that. And they're doing an incredible, well, first of all, they've done an incredible job in the field of health and nutrition for a very long period of time. They've been on projects that much larger than anything that we have done so far in Zinzino, and it's really an honor to have them on our team. And they present what we do in a very simple and understandable way, which I do appreciate that. So thank you. And also just 10 minutes to get the message through is incredible. So what I want to share that I think it has been touched on, but I think it's just important to get it to everyone, maybe directly from me, even though you've heard it before. Sometimes it's good to hear it directly from Hilda and myself that started this project. And that is that we are at the start of something that will change everything. And I can go back to 2012. I'd been using omega-3s for basically my entire life since I was 7 years old. I was 37 at the time, so that gives you 30 years. Now, I don't have a nutritional education. I don't have a medical education. I don't have, well, I couldn't in many ways say that I don't have an education at all because I actually did drop out of college. But that's a longer story. So I won't be sharing all of that. But if you go to my library, you will see that I have a little bit of book knowledge because I read the books that is there, and it's quite a few. And I'm not talking about the library there. That's my new bookshelf. I've got a big library somewhere else in the house. Uh, Here is what happened, and that was that I got involved with nutrition when I was 14 because of exercise. This was back when you can only get protein drinks by going to the gyms where people were building big muscles. So I wanted big muscles. I was 14. I started taking protein drinks, and then I got involved with a nutrition company when I was 17. That is a very famous global brand. And then when I was 21, I got involved with a Swedish company that was mostly operating in Scandinavia, and our best-selling product became omega-3s. So by the time I was 30, we've sold for over 100 million euros worth of omega-3s through that company, maybe even more than that. Then by a series of events, we became co-founders of Zinzino. Coffee product was the base, like Artie mentioned, but my interest in nutrition didn't change. I was on 300 euros of great nutrition every single month from my early 20s, and that continued in my 30s. So now at 35, I thought the healthiest person out there because I was running my 5K 4 to 5 days a week. I was, in addition to that, exercising some strength. I'm a foodie, so I love a variety of all kinds of foods. And I wasn't a foodie on the unhealthy side. I was pretty healthy because as I did mess up in my 20s, I got back in really good shape in my 30s and I was feeling great. And then I wasn't feeling great anymore. So now 2 years into that, I changed my diet completely. So I was only eating like very limited with food, meaning that I ate fish more than once a day. And that was either soaked or with butter on the pan, so no spices to it. I was eating long cooked meats a few times a week. I was eating boiled vegetables, potatoes, and some salad. So that was my diet, plus my supplements, which was a regime of 3 different omega-3s. And this is where I meet this product, the Balance Test. And I got a 2 hour lecture, and I'm not going to bore you too much with information in the 2 hour lecture, but shortly said, it was what Steven said. What omega-6s do, what omega-3 does, and then all the in-depth knowledge of how it affected the cell membrane, the gut or immune system, and so on. So that was the 2 hour lecture. And at the end of that lecture, they talked a lot about the product. It was this product, but with a different brand name on it. And my interest was none because I'd been promoting this my entire life. Since I was basic 17 years old, I'd been pursuing and delivering messages similar to what they talked about. My original health coach wrote a book. I owned a publishing company that published the book. We sold over 200,000 copies. There was a chapter in that book on omega-6 to omega-3 balance. And he absolutely believed in that. And I believed in that. And that's why I was drinking 3 omega-3 supplements and I was eating fish more than once a day. So I was ready to walk out without a sample of the product. In fact, I did walk out without a sample of the product. And I would have never tried the product if it wasn't for the question, have you ever tested your balance between omega-6 and omega-3s? And inside of me, when you have that gut feeling, I don't know how many of you have gotten that gut feeling that I got to look closer at this. There was like a few things going on immediately. First, I was irritated. I sold omega-3s and we never thought about making a test. So that was irritation. Like we should have come up with that. I mean, what took us so long? Sometimes we go like that. What took us so long? Second one that hit me was that everyone that takes omega-3s would want to know their answer. And that immediately made it say ching ching. It didn't make me say, I'm going to save the world with omega-3s because I was already nearly 20 years into that mission, if you understand. But it made, okay, we can sell a lot of product with a test if this product shows up to be proven so that it makes a difference compared to the other products. Here is what didn't happen. And that was that I had gut issues. I had problems. And that was something that I'd been trying to get over for 2 years. It didn't occur to me that the product could do that for me because I believed that I would take the test and I would be in balance and that I would have to find other people that wasn't in balance. So fast forward, I took the test with all the fish I ate, with all the omegas I took, both daily at the point, but also accumulated through 30 years of my life so far. I didn't have a test that was like shockingly bad, but for somebody that tried their entire adult life to be in balance, it was shockingly bad. So my first test result came out 10.4 to 1. And when I read that, that is when it dawned on me and said that maybe this result is related to the problems that I have. Maybe it is the root cause of all the problems that most people have when they have challenges that aren't a specific diagnosis in an area. So all the aches, pains, the everyday feeling out of shape, feeling that we can't do weight gain without any reason. You didn't really try, like weight gain without trying to gain weight, where you're like just eating normally and you age a little bit and then you gain weight and so on, and you try everything you can to keep it off, but it just keeps adding on. Maybe this is the problem behind that. Maybe this is the problem behind rapid aging and so on. And so all of these thoughts are in my mind. And as I've taken the test and I got my result back, I was studying an enormous amount of literature. So 4,000 pages worth of scientific literature on the area was what I went through the next 4 months to really know what this could do for me and what it could do for mankind. Now, after 4 months, I did do my 4-month test because that's what we promote. I'll admit I couldn't wait 4 months to do my second test. So I did a 1st-month test, 2nd-month test, 3rd-month test, and then the 4th-month test. So I couldn't wait that long. Most people I've worked with have waited 4 months. I just couldn't do it. I had to find out earlier. And there was a progress all the way through. But after 4 months, with taking my cost of omegas from 70, 80 bucks a month, and that was in 2012 pricing. We're not talking about after 2024 inflation pricing. Those same products today would probably be 120 bucks today, maybe 140 bucks. I don't know how much they went up to, but I cut my consumption back to what we sell in the US today for $42 per month. And I got a 500% improvement and a 1.7 to 1. And all the issues that I had digesting food, eating food, pain related to food was gone. I was back exercising. I felt incredible. And it's now 12 years ago, and I still feel incredible. So this product, the balance test, in the combination with the balanced soil, I think somewhat in the combination with the Synabiotic, which is a direct gut health product, somewhat in the combination with Extend, which is an triple immune product. I think that this is the answer that people are looking for. But a lot of people will not be open to hearing about it unless they get tested. So this is our tool that changes everything, that the balance test wakes people up. They see that, okay, this is an actual problem that I have. And especially if you're already taking omega-3s, like I was doing, it's shocking. I'm wasting my money. That is the kind of message that people give you back. And not to pick on anybody, but Stephen and Natalie, we've gotten to know each other a little bit, and they are like educated in this area. They've worked with this area longer than me. Anything that comes to food supplements, the knowledge that they have goes far beyond my knowledge. And not even them got perfect scores. And I think that was a wake-up call. It's like that is like, and then when they know are getting close to a perfect score because they haven't been with us for that long. I don't know. Did you guys do your second test yet? No, I haven't done it yet. So it's coming.
Not yet.
No, it's coming up.
Yes.
And then at that second test, there will be, like Natalie mentioned, I've improved in some areas. I think it is from the category of the products, and then that second test will then confirm that, yes, I'm improving because of this product. And then, Stuart, what was your test score? I mean, you know more about omegas than I do. What was your first test score? Would you mind sharing that?
13-1. I was embarrassed.
So here he has his professional career, building a company in the US that does much more sales in the US alone than Zinzino has done globally last year. And did you have an intention where you didn't want to be in balance?
No, I had gotten off of omega-3, trying to go more plant-based, eating flax meal and green leafy vegetables. And
Was
my
that
first
because you believed that that would like completely mess you up, or was that because you believed that it would work?
No, I believed that it would work. My first omega-3 test was 18 years ago, and I was perfectly imbalanced. So this was a total wake-up call. I ran to the refrigerator and I started sucking down the balanced oil like water.
And that brings me to my point and my conclusion, and that is that you only know this ratio if you test it. Guessing doesn't work in this area. Guess-based nutrition is something of the past. Test-based nutrition is the future, and that is what we bring to the marketplace, a technology that will overtake the market that has been there for years. The market is big. Just in America, you've got 10 to 15% of the adult population taking omega-3s on a weekly basis, or actually a daily basis, which is incredible. And I think that in America alone, over 50% of the population are taking supplements because they want to be healthy. All of those would want to take a test. And that's what makes us so powerful. So as we are the market leader and we're moving strongly ahead in the US right now, this technology could bring us to, let's just play with the numbers. If we get 1% of America tested, well, we've already done that in Norway, in Sweden, in Denmark, in Finland, we're getting close in Czech Republic, Slovakia. We've done it in Estonia, Lithuania, Latvia. And there is other, like Switzerland is getting close. There are many countries getting close to 1%. So this is not something that I would call a miracle. It's something that we've done in 10, 11 countries already. So let's say that we can do it in the United States. Well, 1% tested is 3.3 million people. If you looked at the number that already gave you a little bit earlier, Zinzino has tested 1,416,000 tests. Since a bunch of tests is first test and some are second test, so you find that the ratio is about 65 to 35. That puts us right now about 950,000 tested people. So let's say that we did just 1% of the population, 3.3 million. That is then 4 times nearly of what we've done so far. But those 900 some odd thousand first-time tests led to this year, we will do $240 million in sales. So take that number times 4, we should be $1 billion company in the US by the time we've tested 1% of the population. Here is one thing when it comes to 1% of the population. We can't even define it as a trend by the time we've tested 1%. To be able to define it as a trend, we need to test 2.5%. So that would be somewhere around 8, 9 million test results or people, which means that by that time we'd be at 2 billion, maybe 2.5, and that's when it becomes popularized. Now, I gave this example to Paul a little bit earlier today, also to the US. It's hard sometimes to imagine this future where this will be the new normal, where everyone will only take an omega product that will cost balance at $42 a month. Well, maybe we will charge, or to put it that way, those that will copy us will probably charge more in the future than what we do. That's okay. But for less than $50, getting in balance, making a more profound change in the body than anything else that you can do. And just one simple thing, like the amount of omegas put inside of one bottle is equivalent of 30 steaks of salmon and 3,000 olives. So when you start eating this, it's like having a steak of salmon every day with 100 olives. So there is a nutritional impact from the product. And then we didn't talk about the vitamin D and the vitamin E and those things as well. So there is a nutritional impact that it goes beyond just creating the balance, because you've got the polyphenols in the olive, and I could get lost in that science stuff now for a long time. But the point is that people want it, we can prove it, and by the time we hit to be a trend, it's going to go much, much faster, much bigger than we can imagine. And my simple example that I gave was it's nearly 20 years ago, not complete 20 years ago, it's 18 years ago. Steve Jobs walked onto the stage and he said, "Today, I reinvent the phone." And when he did that, it wasn't, well, from the fan base, it was met with applaud, but from the telecoms world, which already spent a few years in, he spent more years there than me. I spent a few years in telecoms as well. It was like, this is stupid. Like, who would ever pay $500 or $600 for a cell phone? Because if you go back to 2006, you can get a fully functioning Nokia for $99. You get some you could get them down to $59. And with a subscription, most of us got it free. But here with the Apple iPhone, we had to pay $500 on top of that. Now, fast forward 18 years, and this happened today. That's why I was reminded about the story. My brother-in-law had just got an iPhone 15 Pro Max, and he had been so reluctant to buy a new phone because he thinks that the prices are crazy. But it came to the place where the 11 was so slow that he couldn't like do any, because every time they update the software, have you noticed your phone gets slow? Until you get the new one, then your phone is quick again. He was like trying to do every cheat in the book to keep his 11 alive. And he said, it can only be used for phone calls. And I needed to get a new one. And then it says, I spent $1,700 on it. But that's not the worst thing. Then he got me to spend on a screen protector. And then he didn't get a case, he got a backside protector. That's the new hot thing now. You have a protection glass on the backside of your iPhone, and then on each one of the cameras. So he spent like $100, $120 just on protection of the $1,700 phone. If I told that story in 2006, that you would spend $100 on protecting your new phone with screens, like protection glasses, you would have looked at me and said that that's an alien story better than actually meeting real aliens. So when we predict the future, I understand why people can be skeptical, but predicting that 2.5% of the population will get a test, will make sure that they get in balance, when we already have 15% of the population spending or wasting, you define what they do, on equivalent products at equivalent prices, that is not craziness. And that's the business opportunity that we have. When that has happened and when we see the future, I think that a lot more people than that will do it. So it's not to limit my belief. 99.5% of the people that have taken the test so far in America did fail the test. So I do believe that all of the people that fails the test will eventually want to correct it and get in balance. There will be more brands than Zinzino, obviously. In addition to Apple, you have 4 or 5 other global brands. So I'm not thinking that no one will copy us, but I am thinking that in the US and in the global market, this will be so important that we would be willing to spend 40, $50 a month for a lifetime every month on ourselves and on our kids and our parents to make sure that we do the first step of good health, which is to get in balance. And that, like already said in the beginning, creates a opportunity to join a company that is just at that bell curve or at that hockey stick where you can get in and you can actually go and turn this into an enormous profit for you and for people that you want to do business with. So what's our vision? Hit 1 million customers by 2025. That's the very short term. That's a doubling from where we are today, and we think and believe it's going to happen. To hit 20 million customers by 2035, some say that's very conservative because we would only need to grow a little bit over 30% a year from today to 35 to be able to pull that off, and to hit 100 million customers by 2050 and be the #1 global brand in preventative health. We think that we can do that because we've got the technology that is 10x better than everyone else in our field. We've got a product that gives proven results in 4 months. And it's not only that it's proven by the test, it's proven by all the testimonials of the people that have been through the 4-month period. And with that, if we don't win, it means that we messed up from a business perspective. And I hate losing, so I hate messing up, and we won't do that. So I'm going to leave it back to you already because we already passed the hour. I just love talking about this concept because it changed my life. It changed the life of so many people, and I'm so excited about it.